Good morning, guys. If you haven't watched my first video, please go back and watch that first. That is just going over some general expectations while I'm gone, how you should use these videos to help you in class, and just anything you need to know for while I'm gone. Today, we are looking at surface area of cylinders. I know that you watched a video on YouTube over cylinders yesterday and did some IXL. I know that was like the third thing in your list. So if you didn't get to that, you'll get to work on that on Friday. Regardless, either way, today I'm going to go over surface area of cylinders, and you have a worksheet that goes along with it. If you're online, then you have this Jamboard. So yesterday, if you did get to the IXL lesson over cylinders, they told you to use 3.14 for pi. But on the STAR test, and as an 8th grader, we actually have a pi button right here on our calculator. So when we hit that, it includes everything about pi, okay? It doesn't cut it off right at 3.14. It gives you all the digits. It kind of works that into that symbol on the calculator. So that's what we want to use. And as we look at our formula and it has that pi symbol, that is what that's going to represent. So I want us to try this in our calculator. Let me move my little picture here. And if you do not have your calculator in front of you, if you're in class, just pause the video and use your seat signal and go get your calculator. So we see right here this blue pi symbol. And what I always say is you got to hit blue pi. Okay, so blue second pi, and you should see that symbol appear on your screen. And when you hit enter, like I said, it gives you that 3.14, but it also gives you the digits after that. It encompasses as many digits as possible to be more precise. Okay. So we know what that button looks like. Now let's get to our work. So you should have your worksheet in front of you if you are in person. As we did with rectangular prisms, we're going to do both measurements. We're going to first solve for lateral, use that lateral amount to plug that into our total and solve it. So if we look at our formula chart, our lateral surface area formula looks like this. And I'm going to type this part. Lateral surface area is 2 Okay, actually, I had to pause my video and go make sure that I was doing the formula right, which that's what you should be doing also, is check that formula chart. Don't rely on your memory. Use that formula chart. It's there for you. So whenever I look this up, I see right here, 2 pi RH. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, 2 pi RH. So what we need to do now is just fill in what we know from this shape into this formula. Before break, one of the things we did was we looked at the difference between radius, which goes halfway across the circle, and diameter, which goes all the way. This has already given us our radius. Number 2 has given us our radius. Number 3 actually gives us our diameter. So what I would do anywhere you see diameter is let's go over there and put radius would be 46 divided by 2 is 23. Because the radius is the measurement that you will need for the formula. All right, so we have 2 pi times the radius, which is 18. And remember, when these numbers and symbols are next to each other, that means you're multiplying. So 2 times pi times radius times the height of the prism, which is 26. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is just, let's go plug that into our calculator. So we have 2, and I'll use my mouse so you can see what I'm doing. I click 2 times blue pi times 18 times 26. All right, so we get our lateral surface area. I'm going to go ahead today and let you round to, I would say for today, let's round to 2 decimal places. So you're going to keep these 2, and depending on what this third one is, you might have to change the second one. If you're not sure about rounding, I'm not grading on rounding today. If you're not sure, then just take these last 2 and move on with your life. Okay, so we have 2940.53. Either way, that's still going to be a good approximation, even if you don't round correctly. So I'm not that worried about that. Okay, now for total surface area. I know that this is going to be the first part of my formula, right? Because that's lateral. Plus, now let's figure out what we need to write for our formula for the 2 bases. So it's 2 pi r squared. That makes sense because pi r squared is area, and I have 2 bases. So if you look at my Pringles can in class, this first section of the formula is that orange wraparound. That's your lateral surface area. Then I'm adding 2 of the bases. I'm adding that top lid and that bottom base. Okay, that's what we're doing now. We don't want to solve for all this again. We just did that. So let's just take our value. We're going to plug it in. 2940.53 plus 2 times pi times our radius, which was 18 squared. Remember here, when you're squaring, it's not just times 2. It is 18 times 18. And we can just hit 18 squared in our calculator, and it already knows that. Okay, so over here, let's type in what we got. 294, whoop, messed up. 2940.53 plus, and you might even for this part, since we're adding all of this, we could put these in parentheses. That might save us from making any kind of mistakes here. So let's do that. Parentheses 2 times pi times 18. And remember, here's your squared button, that x squared. And it looks just like how the formula looks. Parentheses. Okay, so that's our total. All right. So 4976.28. Voila. Now, you do have, I don't remember, yes, it is this one. On this worksheet, if you turn to the back, if you're in class, the total surface area answers are on the back. So that way you can check to see if you're doing it right. Okay, and it might not be rounded how we rounded it, but it should be very close. All right, let me zoom back out. Now, I know on that first example, I did a lot of like talking here and there, little parts that you might need. Now let's solve one where I'm not doing all that. Let's just straight out, let's do the formula. Okay, I'm actually going to skip number 2 just because I don't have a lot of room here. Let's move on to number 3. Remember, take that diameter, cut it in half. A lot of people are just going to see, oh, there's 46. I'm just going to plug that in for my radius. Well, it's all going to be wrong. You got to cut it, get that radius. Okay, so Let me zoom in a little bit more. So we're going to start with our formulas. Okay, we have lateral surface area, total surface area. Forgive my handwriting on here. So here we have 2 pi RH, and for total we have 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. Okay, so on lateral, first thing that we are going to do is just start with 2 and pi. We're not putting anything in for those. We're not changing those values at all. 2 is already a value. Pi is already a value. The only ones we really need to fill in the variables that can vary and change are the radius of the cylinder and the height of the cylinder. So we're always going to start with 2 times pi. Now, and if you forget how to write this pi, remember it's 2 lines up and down, and then you give it that little wave on the top. Okay, let me erase that. For some reason, every year people are like, well, how do you write that? Okay, so there that is again. Okay, so 2 times pi times our radius is 23 and our height is 32. So times 23 times 32. 2 times blue pi times 23 times 32. Okay, we get 4624.42. And that 2 is going to stay the same because this is 4 or less, the next number after it. Okay, let's plug this in up here. 4624.42 plus, now we're going to do this second part, 2 times pi times 23 squared. Now I'm going to teach you a little shortcut in the calculator. We already have an answer up here. I could type it out all again, or one thing that you can start using is if you have an answer and you want to use it into the next thing that you're making, just put the next symbol. So I already have my answer and I want to do plus. So see how it says answer? That means this number. My answer plus, now let's add the rest. 2 times pi times 23 squared. And that's your total. 7948.23, because the number after this tells us to move this up. So it's really 0.23 if you're going to round correctly. Again, if you put 0.22, you're not going to hurt my feelings. It's okay. Okay. So there's 2 good examples for you. Use this video, go back, pause it when you need to, use it to do more examples on your own if you need to. If you don't like my style of teaching it, go to YouTube and find another one. Just make sure you're communicating that with Miss Garcia, okay, so that she doesn't think you're just going on YouTube. Find strategies, okay, for these next 2 weeks. You're going to have to be finding those strategies on your own, how to get your work done and how to be productive on your own. Okay, so this is a big test for y'all. I want to see that you are being responsible with your learning. Okay, because we're still learning. Whether I'm here or not there, the learning has to keep going. So use everything we've done here. I'm going to zoom out so you can see everything. If you need to pause on that and do your rest of your worksheet, however you need to use that, okay? Again, message me inbox me on Canvas if you need me at all. I'm here. I love you guys. Have a great day.